So, for some reason, when I speak about language learning, I speak in English. I should also speak in Italian, since it's my language as well. Um, uh, trying to have language exchange, and it's not really language exchange, it's language. I don't know. I read things I've been reading, I've been listening to my lessons, and they correct some problems with pronunciation. Actually, most of people cannot help me. But one thing is really they don't know how to explain the difference. They're not aware of the thing that happens when that language is your first language. You know, subconsciously, instinctively, how to speak it. But one thing is to speak. One thing is to stress. This doesn't sound good to me. Other thing is really helping. You need to understand whether the problem you can solve the problem on the spot is something that you can help, but it takes more many repetition, in many seances, what do you say, of language exchange. That means that the experience of a person who has been learning and, so to speak, helping other people. I wouldn't say teach. I know it sounds like I'm splitting hair in four, but the usage of the word teach gives a false idea. I don't teach anything. You don't sit over there listening to me. I can give you insights, tips on how to go about learning a foreign language, specific problems you have with a specific language you already know. But if you think that language can be taught like history, geography, or mathematics, no. Unless you face language learning, like learning the structure of a language from a point of view of linguist, a learner, not a learner, a scholar of languages. That's another thing. But when you are more on the practical side, you learn in a different way. I don't explain the rule and you automatically speak well. Sometimes I don't exclude 100%, but this we say extreme ratio, the last resort thing, the logical explanation of the rule. Actually, when I'm learning Russian, first I learn the way it's used, of the preposition. I don't know why, I don't know if it's masculine, feminine. I develop like an instinct. And then after the fact, the book, Rasimil, helps me. So I was speaking with a Russian woman. I think she's 45, something like that. 40, I don't know. I didn't ask. And I was explaining some things about the origin of the alphabet. The Greek first introduced words, vowels, and I was coming to a point I didn't understand whether she was not very smart, she was completely clueless about these linguistic things. So you can be intelligent in some aspect and not so quick on the uptake when it comes to other things, or my language was too complicated for her to understand. I was trying to suss out her level. I didn't understand, because sometimes we overestimate, because some people seem to understand most of the things I'm saying, but some things they don't understand, but they don't react in a way that it's obvious they are not understanding me. So I overestimate the level of comprehension. So it's very important, since I'm able to do that because I have a long experience in absorbing and helping other people absorbing another language. Obviously, I'm speaking about languages I know. I realize we're speaking about the outdoor temperature, and she said in Italian sulla strada, and I immediately understand this is something because it was in my lessons, and I've been studying language Russian for 2 months, and we say fuori, outside, the temperature outside. In Russian it's on the street. In English sounds like more the price of something, or something happens on the street value or whatever. I immediately understand this, and my experience in Russian is 2 months. It's a 2-month experience. This person has been learning Italian for 2 years, and she said it was a beginner. After 2 years, if you after 2 years you're still a beginner, something's went wrong. I don't say in 2 years you're very, very fluent. It also depends on the language. In 2 years you're not fluent in Russian, unless you speak a very similar language, or quite similar, because when it comes to Belarusian and Ukrainians, they already know Russian, in spite of the fact that the Ukrainians seem to hate Russians, but linguistically they know Russian. Maybe in 20 years they will know. There'll be a new generation that doesn't really have, not even has a passive knowledge of the language. Those languages, I think they are very similar, but not so similar as somebody from outside can think they are. People who don't speak a language overestimated the similarities between Italian and Spanish, or Italian and French. I understand French because I absorbed the language. Now I'm quite rusty, but before studying I didn't understand anything. Then I spoke it fluent, almost like a French person, but it took me 5-6 years of intensive exposure to the language. So my idea is that there is a first phase where, and I'm speaking about languages that are quite different, where everything is new and you're overwhelmed by information, and you should stick to your path. Path can be a very good textbook. I'm using Assimil. I'm sure there are other textbooks that are useful. I know Assimil. I'm familiar with it. I know how it works. I use it with recordings. And my major mistake I made the first month is disregarding listening to much of this. Now my ratio is 2/3 of the time I'm listening. Only 1/3 of the time I read and I try to mix the two, listening and watching, then not watching anymore. And my method is, just a second. My method is listening to my recordings many times, because actually I don't have a good memory for words, so I'm obliged to I'm forced to listen to it several times. The good side effect that I really internalized the lesson I've been listening to, and that's a good start. Obviously, I'm just at the beginning of the path, but I don't care. If I'm still alive, I will learn. Otherwise, I will die knowing some Russian. Other thing, some people I have strange motivations, like I want to go on a holiday in Italy and I want to speak Italian. Not come on, you can go on holiday or vacation to Italy, and most of people don't know Italian. They don't speak in small villages, and who cares? I mean, I'd never go on holiday. Yes, I never go to countries whose language I don't know, but that's me. But I can understand that it's not the real motivation, the way I see it. The real motivation should be deeper. It took me 4 or 5 months for me to muster the courage and make the decision to, okay, I'm ready, I'm psychologically ready. Maybe if I'd started 5 or 4 months ago, I would have dropped the ball. So I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready when I started Turkish. Maybe I was not that motivated. It was the idea of knowing Turkish. But the problem is, the difference is that with Russian I have more real life situations. I have more people I can speak with. I have this much, how to speak, it's kind of East Europe, some parts of Asia international lingua franca. I politically strongly support stopping NATO from doing what they want to do. I'm not 100% supporter of whatever Russia does, and nobody should do it. I live in Italy and I support 5% of what my government does. I think that my government is not even my government, is United States. We're a puppet state, we're a banana state. So, I think Russia does in Russian interests, not Italian interests, and I think that is the lesser of the two evils. Okay? I basically prefer American music, American movies, and many things that come from America. But in the middle of those beautiful things that come from America, there is a lot of diarrhea. There's a lot of bad crap. That's the problem with America. Those people support Israel no matter how many people they kill, and that's really disgusting. There's a lot of stupid propaganda pro-Israel no matter what. I didn't have anything specifically against Israel, and then I understood what I've been doing before. I was more aware of what Ukraine was doing in Donbass. I was more interested in that, maybe because it's something more recent. It was a bomb waiting to explode. This thing about the Israel and Palestine has been going on since before I was born, so I was used to that, and nothing really happened in the recent decades except for the Intifada thing. And I don't know what's going on, but anyway, what is going on now, I don't know what's going to happen, but what's going on now, what's happening now is really bad. It's beyond. Okay, but I digress. But I want to say that there's a strong motivation. I knew upfront from the beginning that Russia would be a real pain in the ass. I mean, something very difficult, and it is difficult. But Rome was not built in a day, neither Moscow. So I decided, okay, I learned a lot of things through the way Russian way of speaking Italian, and I said, I don't want to speak like them in 2 years' time. Most of them have. I don't say the Russian should speak perfect Italian. I will never speak perfect Russian, but I have more excuses because of the spelling, of the specific sound, of phonetical rules that change the sound of the according on where the stress fall and blah 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 blah. They change the stress of words. We never strange, unless we in the past simple parlo, but never for adjectives and nouns. We have a singular, a plural, masculine, and feminine, and that's it. Russian seems to be quite difficult. Okay, that's the beauty of it. Embrace difficulty and just time. I do what I have to do. I have my Russian exposure time, and then I forget everything. I don't want to. Enough. I've done my 2 hours. I'm doing other things. I'm confident because, and maybe in time I will do more if I'm ready. At first period you don't have a lot, so always repeat the things you already know, the first 23, 24 lessons. It takes time to be able to do more stuff without be bored and without falling asleep. Every new lesson is everything is new. Not everything is new, but there is 5, 6 new words that need to be absorbed. You say, what is 5, 6 words? In Russian, it's a lot because they have a weird pronunciation, weird order of sounds that we don't have in Italian. They are completely different. Most of those words have nothing to do neither with Italian nor with English or with Greek for that matter. Obviously there are words in Russian that some words are similar to Italian, mainly words from Latin, words about not common things. So I came to the conclusion that language change with the people I can deal with will be, for the most part, not useless, or very little use. I think I would make the most of my time using Assimil and listening to Assimil. Also because I think that for 1 hour of exposure to Russian from Russians, you need to take 2 hours, because then you have to help them with either Italian or English, and that's it. I say, oh, I would gladly have language exchange with somebody who know how to help me. Most people don't know, so in the long run, when you already you know the language more or less, okay, you don't need somebody who's trained, okay. But now, I because they don't know what to do. Uh, where I am, where am I?